I'm getting, I think, a delay. Whoa. Yeah, there's an audio delay. 1 second. Let me just... Let's see if that helped. Nope, that didn't really help. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of overreacting. Let me see here. Let me just deactivate you. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay. I think we're gonna have to do something about the graphics quality here. Again, I feel like I go back here too often. There's really no easy way to do this. Okay. Put it on performance mode. Alright, there we go. Okay, where do we leave off? Because it's been a bit. It's been a hot minute. A lot of side quests. I'm not gonna... I don't know if I'm gonna do all the side quests. I don't think there's a point to doing all the side quests, but I do want to do some of the Nikkei stuff, because that was kind of fun. Let's see, I'm not seeing anything on the map so far. I'll just go with the ones that are actually trackable. Let's see. Go down that way, or up here actually, and then make our way around. Why not? Over this first. Don't have a double jump. Shame. Ow. I have been playing this game in my own time. I gotten a little further than this, probably a lot further, but I played this game back when it came out on PlayStation 5. I will say that this PC port is definitely great. It is very good. It's very smooth, and I don't know if it's at all improved from the at the PlayStation 5 end of things or PS4 end of things, but this game feels a lot smoother here than it does on the PlayStation. Which is something that I very enjoy. I enjoyed it immensely. Alright, do I have any skills? I'm sure I racked up some skills the last time I played this. No, I must have spent it all before I got off. Suppose we'll get a couple of these. Ay, ay, ay. Leave me alone, you assholes. Alright. Almost at the objective marker. Anything around here worth interacting? Aw, I didn't get far enough. But yeah. As far as the fan service is concerned, that is definitely one of the best qualities of the game too. But the combat, oh my god, is the main focus. I could go all day about the combat. I really could. The combos feel great. The sort of combat style of the way the game like has her move, the animations are crisp. And a lot of these attacks, right, are very feminine, right? They're very feminine focused. Like, it's not too often, right? You get a game that is so feminine. It's crazy. It becomes like its own sort of like style in it to itself. And there's so many different outfits, so many different customizations you can use to really kind of like make your own Eve sort of pop. And even give her glasses. And even give these side characters their own costumes, which is nice. There's just a lot to have, you know, like there's a lot that's just there in the game that most people would also, and this is another thing, right, is that it's made by Shift Up. This is a game made by a gacha game company, and yet they didn't go as far as to try to make all of this stuff like added DLC or content that you have to gamble for from a loot box reward system, among other things right now. This is all just straight up like, hey, you bought the game, here's all this cool and amazing content. And that's something I can truly appreciate about this game, is that there is so much content here, and they just keep adding more to it. And they don't even care that it's just there for you to find and discover and just enjoy. They don't want to try and sell it to you. They don't want to try to rip it out and and attempt to sell it back to you like some games, some companies. They're just, it's all here, and it's great. There was some controversy initially with its release. Admittedly, where they did, quote unquote, try to censor a few things. I mean, I think they definitely did. I think it might be on Sony's part. I wouldn't be surprised. But there were just some weird censored issues around the fact that some of the outfits were kind of like, like they were obviously touched up. The developers themselves said that the outfit touch-ups just, they were done with the intention of, adding more design to it, I believe was the excuse, to add more of like to kind of add a bit more of like to the outfit, which that kind of feels like a load of crock. It kind of feels like horseshit, because they didn't really seem like they were there to serve anything. They were there just to cover up, the things that were obvious, right? What is that stutter? I do not know what's causing that stutter right now. I did set it to performance. I wonder if it has something to do with the fan, because I got a fan from my computer recently that has to plug in directly to it. I wonder if it's siphoning energy away from the computer to keep the fan running. It's funny because I can actually get this thing to run really well when I'm not streaming it, but when it comes to streaming, it's like, oh, I'm going to have a fucking... I'm gonna just give you a hard time with it. I don't understand it. Maybe some of the graphical settings are a little too... No. Shadow quality is the medium. Maybe I could put that down to low. Depth of field is medium. I'll put the shadow quality back to low. Particles are fine. I don't care about particles. Film grain. Said it's a high performance. Not high. Yeah, high performance. Let's see. Character texture. I mean, obviously, I want to keep that up. You know, I don't know if I like high performance, but I might have to keep it there out of a necessity, really. Let's see. I'll put it on performance. If there's any more... Okay. Wow. Wow, that was something. Do I... Okay, I might need to do something. Hang on, 1 second. What if I turn off this fan? Let me just unplug this fan just in general. Let's see what that does. Wow, this game is having a hard time right now. My computer just seems to be having a hard time right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to restart my computer real quick. 1 second. Let's see here. Anytime now, game. Up. Never mind that. I forgot that I do not want that on. Wow, it is struggling. It is struggling. It is chugging. That's amazing. Let's see, it's been 9 minutes since you saved. You know, maybe I will go save first. If I can make it. Where's the nearest save spot? Jesus. Okay, this one right up this path. I'm gonna go do that for real quick. Just run past all the enemies that it may concern. Jesus. You know, it was working fine just a second ago, too. Oof. Oh, you can make it. You can make it. I wonder if my computer just can't run it because of the strain graphically? No, that shouldn't make sense. It might have to be... What could possibly be doing this? It has to be because I'm streaming it right now. That has to be what it is. I mean, it did fine the last time I streamed it. I don't know why it's having such a hard time right now. Okay. Imagine trying to do combat with this going on. Oof. I'm gonna need you to die. Like, just die. Or maybe I should just die. You know, that could work too. Oh my god, this is awful. See, this is why I use a second computer to stream, because stuff like this would just absolutely suck. Oh my god, that is awful. Yeah, I need to figure out what the hell's going on. Game has crashed. Finally, you've crashed. You've done it. You've crashed. I was wondering if the game was gonna give out or something else. Something went wrong. Yeah, why not? Just send a report. I don't care. God damn. What the hell happened there? This is another incident like what's happening with Monster Hunter Wilds right now, where they're having like a crash out situation because they didn't delete their old shader compilations. You know, when they did their weird update, and so the game chugged after its initial update. They even had to make a post saying, hey, here's how to delete your old shader cache. It's, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and try, not going there. I'm going to try restarting my PC real quick. Let's see. You know what? What I'll do instead, because it's just simpler if I do it this way. I'm going to put this up real quick. 1 second. There we go. We'll just restart you. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It's not every day that it happens, but it does. You know, that's the life of a streamer. Sometimes things do not go according to plan, but we just make do. But anyways, yeah. I was talking about how great Stellar Blade is. That is not indicative to the actual Stellar. Definitely be a lot of instances where I'm going to need to edit, I guess. After the stream. It's fine. Honestly, here's another interesting stance. People get doxxed on the internet a lot, right? And in fact, just in case something else pops up, I'm just going to put that up real quick. You know, like, people get doxxed on the internet a lot. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. You know, like, I am of the stance, right, that if people really want your personal information, they just will. They'll just get it. You know, there's nothing you can say or do about it. It just happens. It's currently just updating. Nothing else going on so far. And then once it's done updating, I'm going to go ahead and try to restart it again. In fact, maybe what I'll also do is that I'll also go ahead and just unplug the battery from the laptop, the charger anyways, and then just let it do a clean, like, shutdown and then turn back on. Not so much of a hard reset, but just a nice clean shutdown. See if that fixes some of the problems. It looks like it's becoming more so of a talkative stream, isn't it? But it is what it is. Technical difficulties and the whatnots, you can't escape them. And I've never had issues prior to this moment, so it's weird that I'm having issues now. I don't know if it's just a Stellar Blade thing, but it could just be a Stellar Blade thing. But I'm not playing Stellar Blade. My computer seems to be doing fine, and even then, like it seems like the game itself was the one that was kind of chugging. It wasn't necessarily the PC itself that was having issues, but I'm still unsure as to where the problem lies. It could just be that the graphics card needed an update and the game needs to work with the new update that they released. I have no idea. We'll just see. Some games do have a weird sort of like overlap with driver updates, like with NVIDIA and the whatnot. I believe Cyberpunk was very particular about this. Like they worked with NVIDIA from the ground up to make that game, and so a lot of the stuff that NVIDIA, like released that updates their drivers among other things during and prior to that game's release, all worked to make that game, essentially work efficiently. I have no idea. I'm really just spitballing. But outside of that kind of stuff, right? In other types of news, which, let's see. Yeah, in other types of news, though, like I hear Texas is flooding. I don't know if any of you watching are from Texas, but my heart goes out to you. I hope you're not suffering from the worst of it, because it looks pretty bad. It looks really bad from the footage that I've been seeing. I mean, I saw houses floating down, like, the streets. It was kind of crazy. I do also hear it's cheaper to live in Texas. I have been thinking about wanting to move out at some point, but I don't know if I would ever want to move to Texas because of the obvious reasons that it exists along the border. And I remember how many people flooded in from the border, among other things. I don't know how bad it is now, but there's a, like, I hear the cost of living there is pretty good. At least finding a house is more likely than anything else that's actually within an affordable range, but I don't know. That's just what I've heard. I haven't really been seeing any pricing around the subject or anything of that sort. It's something that I always keep in mind because I do eventually want to get to a point to where I could eventually move out of my own house. This update takes a while. I've also been messing with my sound settings. I don't know if I sound any better, by the way. I have been kind of experimenting a little bit. Because I've noticed that sometimes when you use noise suppression, it kind of screws with your audio a little bit. And so I've tried to find workarounds to kind of keep things to where you don't hear every minute noise, but you can still hear my voice. Oh, there we go. Something's happening. That is a screen. Let's see, installing HD audio drivers. Great. Install newer or same version. That's a lot of updates. Needs a restart. All right, yeah, we'll do that. I'm hoping it was just it needed an update, right? Because I do update my drivers pretty often, but I didn't notice that it needed an update recently. Usually NVIDIA tells me when it needs an update, but that's probably because I'm not signed in like I used to be. Starting. We will not pay attention to the things that we see on screen for some of the things are not things that need to be seen. But anyways, all right, we seem to be back. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up again, just to be on the safe side, because I know everything's gonna start restarting again. Not sure what things are gonna pop up. Ugh. Let's see, but yeah, other than that, let me go and put this back up. I do think that it's... Oh yeah, that's right. That's another thing that's also very interesting. Apparently, Ready or Not is having an issue. Me and my friends like to play Ready or Not on occasions. Apparently, their recent hiccup is that they decided, right, that they were going to make the game crossplay, and for whatever reasons, it's most likely again another publisher issue. Sony decided that they needed to kind of sprucing up their content so that way it's more palatable for console audiences. And so instead of just making a separate version of the game that runs parallel to the PlayStation gamers and audiences, they decided, for reasons that I don't know myself, I'm sure there's probably a lot of reasons, to be honest, as to why they didn't really bother to implement options of that nature. They decided to just make both, to make the changes work on both ends. And so a lot of people are very pissed about that they're censoring content simply a lot of adult themes simply because they want it to be palatable for console users, which is, it's funny because The Witcher exists, The Last of Us Part 2 exists, God of War exists, Baldur's Gate exists. There's a lot of games that involve graphical nudity as well as questionable themes and sexual content that that is very obviously on the PlayStation platform, unapologetically just there, and has never at all been curated between different console releases, between the console release and the PC release. But apparently, for whatever reason, Sony decided, you know what? We need you to tighten and spruce up this game before you release it on our platform. And I think that's kind of a weird thing. And a lot of people have brought this up as well. I'm not anywhere at all new to that discussion, but it's very interesting that that Sony has been taking lately a weird stance on games. Like, Nintendo's already having a bit of a crash out with their pricing model when it comes to fucking $90 to $80 games. Like, $500 console, fine. All right, that's nothing new. We've seen consoles that are around that range. Granted, they're not so small that you could hold it in your fucking hands, but again, $500 pricing, that isn't the biggest sort of oh well, that's a fucking a lot of money. That isn't the biggest fucking spender in my mind. I've seen consoles go up, especially back in the heyday, between up to $600 to $700 to $800. That isn't anything new or even questionable in my mind, especially for a console like that. Plus, with inflation, $500 seems kind of reasonable to me, right? Maybe I'm the one who's having not really maybe I have the L take on that particular point, but I think the console pricing is fine. I think the $80 to $90 games, though, is the part that I think is the biggest problem. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't like the idea and precedent that we could be spending almost $100 on games. It's stupid. Let's see. Why isn't this turning on? I'm gonna go ahead and hold this button. . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 Hmm. Okay, great. So I shut down my PC only to then realize that now it doesn't want to turn on. You know, my laptop's been having the hardest time just trying to function as of late. Like, I don't know what it is. I think it might be the battery. I think it very obviously might be the battery. Something's wrong with the battery because I took a glance look at it when I took it apart not that long ago. Everything seemed to be fine. The problem, I think, it might just be the battery. I think the battery's on its way out. Let's see if I plug it back in. Will it work? Oh, look at that. It turns right back on. That's amazing. I'm having a sneaking suspicion it might be the battery, guys. I'm having a sneaking suspicion, right, that it might just be the battery. All right. There, are we good? You good? Huh? Yeah, we're good. But yeah, in any case, I think the ready or not situation is it's a little ridiculous. Sony is getting a little overhanded with the way it does with the way that it polices content. Like the Helldiver situation was already bad enough, right? But now it seems like Sony is actively trying to give themselves a black eye reputationally over honestly really stupid shit that doesn't even matter in the grander scheme of things. Like, honestly, I'd rather just capitulate on most issues than just give myself a consistent black eye. But then again, who am I to say, right? You know, like AAA develop, like I'm not a AAA publisher. You know, like nor am I a AAA developer. You know, like their problems and their issues are probably far grander than us plebes. Let's see. I want to just shut down as many unessential programs as possible. Yes, even you, GOG. Okay, now let's try plugging everything back in. Hopefully this will fix the issue. God, I have never had a major issue like this before. On the channel, no less. It truly is something. Let's see. What the? That was weird. Okay. For a second there, that wasn't even the wallpaper. That is so weird. That wasn't even the initial wallpaper that was on display. There was like a Knights of the Old Republic wallpaper that was on display from the wallpaper engine. You know what? Maybe I should nuke that too. Just in case it's outsourcing a lot of resources. But it's just like that was so funny. Like wallpaper engine literally displayed something entirely different than fucking whatever the then okay. I'm just gonna leave it at that. That was so confusing to me. Let's see. I think I'm already signed in, but I'm gonna put it up again, hopefully for the last goddamn time. Alright. Yeah. We're good. We're good. Alright, let's see if we can do this again. Primate. And again, I'm gonna try and keep my fan off this time. Just to see what happens. I was kind of hoping to see my taskbar. Full screen. That ought to bring. Nope, doesn't bring it up. Okay. I'll just have to do this again. Okay. I want to get that going in the background so I can again monitor it. It definitely had something to do either with the driver update or the game itself, because I noticed immediately, because the laptop tells me when it's having a power issue, and it was blinking like a bluish red, which hints that there was definitely a either a voltage or a power like issue going on. So that's something that I'm gonna have to look into at some point later. But so far, it's not giving me any problems. It's not having any issues, which is nice. It's currently compiling shaders as we speak. God. I leave for a week and suddenly everything decides it wants to be a pain in my ass. Let's see. You know, at this point, I am inclined to believe that it must have been a driver issue too, because it's a lot smoother, everything's working fine. Maybe I just needed to turn off the computer and just let it rest for a bit, and then, you know, turn it back on. That's probably what I needed to do. It could really be anything, right? You never know with fucking technology these days. Even the old funny trick of just smacking a thing is just as viable. I'm gonna try plugging in my fan, right? Turning it on. Okay, we're good, we're good. See if that does anything. Okay. Alright. Yeah, everything seems to be working. Alright. Anyways, I do again apologize for any technical difficulties. Let's see. Now, for the purposes of making sure nothing fucks up, I'm going to keep everything at a... well, not everything, but I'm going to keep things on the performance side of things, because I don't want it to screw up again. Let's see, ambient occlusion. I've heard things about ambient occlusion from like a friend of mine. It basically helps with edges around the screen or something like that. I don't know. I'll just put it on low. It seems useless from what I was told. Or was it chromatic aberration? No, chromatic aberration was something else. I'm trying to remember if it was ambient occlusion or something else. But anyways, we're done here. Everything seems fine. I might even lower lighting quality, depending on how this goes. I might just lower everything. Really. I'd rather not resort to that. But just to get to playing through the game, I might have to go through some extreme measures. And you know, again, this is not at all indicative to the actual game itself. It is really just a me issue. At least that's what I'm hoping it is. I'm seeing the issue again. Hopefully it'll run better. I feel a slight delay. I'm gonna try turning that off again. Yeah, I'm seeing a slight delay. Let me deactivate this real quick. God, the audio gets so crunchy when I do that. You know what, we'll work with this for now, see where it goes. Let me see here. Alright, we were last heading up here, so we'll go up there. I'm gonna unplug this, see if that helps too. Oh, there's Emil. This must be our first meeting in the game so far. That face is funny. There's no English dialogue, I forgot about that. Emil Shop, a strange three-wheeler who calls himself Emil, has proposed a deal. Bring him stellar tears and he'll provide you with a range of items unavailable in this world. As proof of his proposal, the strange three-wheeler has shared the locations of the stellar tiers he has already located. Checking your data bank will help you track down these stellar tiers. Yeah, so as you can see, you can get Nier Automata outfits, as well as this one. I'm sure most people bought this one the first chance they got. I mean, for obvious reasons. And admittedly, guiltily, I definitely did the same. It's all about looking respectfully, guys. It's all about looking respectfully. Let's see. I like that outfit, so I'm gonna... Oh, that's what happened. Alright. I thought I hit the favorite button, but I guess... that's what it was. Kind of go through favorites some of my outfits. I like all the Nikkei stuff personally. All right. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road. I forgot there was a cooldown to that for a second. It seems to be running well on this end, but I'm not sure what it's like on the YouTube end of things. In fact, I'll take a look at that real quick. I had 3 views so far. Oh. Alright. That should pop up any second now. Yeah, that seems to be fine. Go ahead and mute myself on YouTube. Alright, let's see. We are almost at the objective. Let's go do that. Yeah, they are kicking my ass. New waypoint active. Nice. Ow, still hit me with that last one. And there's another one. Ah, that missed. I was kind of hoping that would hit. There we are. Alrighty. Given how long that technical difficulty section part of it, I'm definitely probably just gonna edit that out after the stream. And then maybe have to do some blurring around certain other aspects of it, but it's fine. It's nice to keep a note so that I do run this on a 3080. Or was it a 3090? I don't remember. It's not exactly the highest gen, sort of like, it's not the newest gen, the highest end type of hardware. Certainly not in terms of graphics wise. I never really went through the process of getting... I might need to get a new computer actually, but I mean... For what I was told, right, some of the older stuff's, you know, like, a 3080, from what I researched, was still good at running most games. I think it's just, when it comes to graphic-wise, it strains when it has to also divert the graphical stuff towards the capture card. Which is probably where most of the problems were coming from with this. I have no idea. Again, it could also just be my laptop having an issue. I'll try and sort it out at some point. I might even just get a new computer, really. It's probably about that time. I've had this computer for almost like, what, 3 to 4 years. It's almost bordering on 5. They say you should start getting a new one around maybe 10 or 5 if you want to be optimal. I believe that's what they said, and especially if we're talking about laptops. I forgot that I don't have any energy. And especially when we're talking about laptops, you know, like, their life expectancy is always a subject of discussion. Because it's also about how well you take care of the laptop that also guarantees its longevity. Which the most I've done is just make sure it doesn't run itself into the ground. I only recently started taking it apart just to take a look at it, and luckily it doesn't seem too fucked up on the inside, but I've only taken a surface level glance. I never actually took the thing apart. The most I've done is clean the fan blades, and also remove the battery once. You know, believe it or not, some people do actually remove the batteries from their laptops just so that way they don't have to deal with that issue. Or just so that way they don't have to ruin the battery, which is funny. They just keep it plugged in at all times. I need a rest point. Let's see, we're at our next objective. Just about, I believe there's a rest point. Yeah, there is. A bit of a slow start, but we are making progress. Oh no, it's not. It's just a vending machine. Grain tea corn. Are these actual teas, by the way? Like, are these actual drinks? Well, I'm curious about that. Because some of them seem well designed, and some of them seem like joke products.
Oh, it's a dead end.
I can just dash along the wall.
Approaching a marked wall and jumping with X will let you run on the walls. Those are very easy to spot because, you know, they're very obvious. They're just great meshes, usually red, with maybe some yellow paint on them.
Wow, great moves. Almost as good as mine.
It must be the drone, not you.
Let's see. We're sleeping in the cradle. These are all things back at that one place. I might need a double jump for this. Just turn right back around. There we are, another rest area. Alright, got some skill points to spend. What do we got? Reflex boost, make it easier to do perfect dodges. Threat detection, make it easier to use blink and repulse. Beta energy theft, recharges more beta energy upon a successful ambush or assault. This one might be nice, actually. But the actual beta skills might need some leveling up. Anything else in here? Impact type, critical rate. Initial unstable energy when enemies are dealt to. Also critical hit. Deals chain damage to nearby enemies. Oh yeah, there's other suits to unlock too. Don't need those right now. Let's see if we can get through today without any more issues, because it's looking like as long as I don't mess with anything, we're good. I don't even have the fan going, which might be the reason why it was having such a problem. Might be. Oh, okay. You get stuck in one of those and you're dead. These guys are always annoying. You'll definitely just want to stock up on these things at all times, because you're never gonna know when you're gonna just want to chug through a bunch of those Hertz resuscitators. Alright, let's see. Just breaking everything, getting as much loot and items as possible. There's an objective tied to this specific area, but I don't think I have the objective mission yet. Then we just move this. I believe there's something behind you, right? Or not. Okay. Am I not getting that? Oh, there we go. These camera angles, man. They knew what they were doing.
Adam, I've located the bike.
I see. She must have left it behind when she ran away. And it looks to me like the drones have already picked it clean. Nothing to be done there. These kinds of trunks are usually only used by scavengers.
I think this one belongs to Kaya.
Good to hear. Okay, let's go ahead and get it back.
Nice. Won't be returning to the client quite yet. Still more exploration to be done. I believe there's still one more objective around here. Maybe? No, I'm not really seeing anything else. Alright. Let's see. I already did this objective, right? Or maybe I still have yet to do it. Yay. There we go. Okay. So we're looking for somebody's brother up here. That's not it. I don't know why that sequence of things is what guaranteed that this entire crate would open, but let's see. Oracle's a fake prophet, alright. Personal link? Please, I've never heard of anything like that. He extorted the citizens, that's it. That's exactly it. What a crazy old bastard. Us free citizens have to win. United citizens will never be defeated. But still, I miss my sister. And there's a pass good. Not yet. Okay. I've noticed that there's some trailers going around for what was it? If software? Not id software, but I think they're called themselves if software. They apparently, you know, it's the guys who made first Berserker. They apparently are making a new update that basically, from what I understand, it changes the way the game's played. They are doing like some sort of gameplay overhaul as well as some retweaking to gameplay balances, among other things. So that's fascinating. But I also saw that they were planning on adding a female Kazan to the game, which is interesting that they are going to have a gender-bent version of their protagonist into the game. I'm not complaining, I just think it's funny that they're doing that. I wonder if there's like a in-universe lore reason, or if maybe there's just like they're gonna have you choose between two different versions of Kazan when you're going to start up the game for the first time. No idea. I mean, it looks interesting, and I would like to go back to playing Kazan at some point. I don't mind that. That game's actually really fun. It's like a more macho-esque, sort of like Stellar Blade. Huh?
What? Who's
Oh, that came from my controller. You guys didn't hear that because it came from my controller.
It doesn't seem to have been intentional.
Yeah, you could really feel the bones of the PlayStation game that this was at one point.
I know what this is. The source of the signal should be at the dump site north of the scrap plains. You're gonna love this. It certainly wouldn't hurt to check it out. That is, if you're feeling inclined toward a little neighborly help.
You're talking about this guy. It really does surprise me that Asian studios consistently seem to pull out a win. They're constantly getting the bag all the time, whereas the Western AAA companies are constantly fumbling. It's really weird, right? Because, you know, back in the day, you know, like the biggest, you know, like people in the gaming market who had such a monopoly on how like games are made and what kind of games get made, you know, not really, I wouldn't say that, but it's definitely like, definitely the Western AAA market were the biggest proponents and sellers of the highest consumer products in the Western, gaming community. And so it's weird that we're getting more Asian-specific products, and we're also getting a lot more, like, with their own different type of traditions, cultures, and themes. And then the shift, of course, being that they're the ones creating games that are based off of other types of cultures, traditions, as well as stories. That it's such a weird time to be in right now when it comes to being a gamer, because it's weird that despite the fact that a lot has changed over the decade that games have been around, the Japanese, Chinese, and other Asian markets, the Korean market even, right? I don't even think there was a Korean gaming market until recently, but there is a lot more stuff coming out of like Asian countries now than there are in Western, like in our own country. And it's crazy to think that just before that we had developers, one of them who made Doom, I believe. I don't even remember. But we had a guy who literally was just like, oh yeah, we make all these amazing, hardcore, like really like these really hard, like great games, whereas you guys are still just peddling at just making like stupid shit, right? Like, I remember I remember seeing the video of a particularly notable game developer. I believe he made Doom. I don't remember anymore, but he basically threw a lot of shade at Asian developers. And now it's funny that Asian developers are the ones who are doing the most when it comes to keeping games alive, as well as just continuing to bring more interest and invigoration into the AAA space. Because, I mean, it's no secret that a lot of Western companies have completely lost the plot. It's also true for a lot of other stuff, too. Like, from movies to other types of media, there's just such a woeful either dislike or just lack in wanting to give people what they want, and as well as just straight up competence. There's no quality anymore in the Western markets. They just want to create shovelware, the equivalent of AAA, highly polished, golden turd level shovelware, and promote it like it's art, and it's not. It's all trash. It's all just garbage. It's crazy. I believe not too recently, Ubisoft got purchased by, or was purchased, or they're trying to be purchased by Tencent, which is kind of wild to think about, actually. Because before, they used to be one of the big three, the big juggernauts of the industry. It's amazing how making the same fucking game over and over again really does to a company, huh? And then they just give it a new coat of paint each time. Oh, we had Assassin's Creed? Now we have Assassin's Creed, but it's called Ghost Recon. Oh, we have Assassin's Creed, but now it's called Far Cry. Oh, we have Assassin's Creed, but now it's called something else. I think it's coming through my controller again. God, that's fun. Return to the bulletin board and report the results. Now that's a code for something. No, it's a BGM. More Nikkei stuff. And the turning radius when you're sprinting is crazy. Alright. Yeah, more stellar tears. Probably my first one, actually. So given that they had to give me a fucking tutorial on it. Also, I know that I've definitely haven't been releasing any like type of content as of late. Oh well. I'm hoping the skips are just temporary. I hope it's not a sign of it doing it again. Anyways. Like I was saying though, I know I haven't been releasing any like sort of like snippets or cuts from my streams lately. I am currently getting ready to go back into that. I have been taking a bit of a break because, you know, again, mental health reasons. I feel like I was on the verge of a fucking crash out at one point. But I am planning to get back to that, and I will release some of those, and I will definitely be re-releasing those fucking, those reacts. I wouldn't say re-releasing, but I'm definitely going to be making the, I'm going to be cutting out and posting those reacts from my VODs, so that way everybody can enjoy them, because I know that those are usually what gets at least most of the eyeballs when it's just like secular content. If that's even the word to use right now. More Nikkei stuff, yay. I just, again, haven't been getting to it because of those reasons, and I just want you to know that I will be getting back to working on those. But you can look forward to that when it comes. Okay. You know, what makes this even more funnier is that I was watching a friend of mine play through the Nikkei side of this event. And you can... They literally have playable Eve segments in Nikkei. They literally have hack and slash gameplay elements in Nikkei, and I think that's fucking hilarious. There's actual crossover between the games. Again, I think this is very neat. Oh, if it's a behemoth. This shit is so flashy. Nice. Rappy's hat, a common military cap, unremarkable in both material and design. However, the mark engraved on it carries a mix of nostalgia and regret for the organization the wearer once served. Nice. In combat? With what? Oh, hi there. Nice. The Truth, Human Instrumentality Plan. Eidos Company's top secret project, the Human Instrumentality Plan, exclusively reported in this paper. The plan categorizes humans by ranks, manages, and improves them, based on data collected from Mothersphere. Did the Mecha Company cartel dream of a sci-fi dystopia? What is the link between the Human Instrumentality Plan and Eidos Company CEO Raphael Marx? Innovative business must reach human instrumentality through technological and societal developments. The spine-tingling truth behind this famous saying: aspirations to conquer the world by using Mothersphere under the guise of innovation. Just what is Raphael Marx planning? An exclusive report from our reporter Gwen, only in The Truth. Another vending machine. Anything in here? Yep. If you collect enough of these, you'll get an outfit. I think if you collect all of them, you'll get an outfit, but... Oh yeah, that's right. Apparently, if you take out the selfie camera... Well, typically anyways, if you take out the selfie camera, you can get outfits if you were to scan them. Maybe I don't have the side quest for it. In fact, I don't remember actually accepting it the last time I played it, as a matter of fact. This game gives you lots of busy work. A lot of busy work. Not nearly as bad as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, though. That really had a lot of shit in it. And I'm not even kidding. If you remove all of the Chadley sections, it makes the game infinitely more playable, in my opinion. Chadley is just Ubisoft incarnate. Just a lot of busy work under the guise of content. Oh yeah, I'm very aware there's a turret up there. Oh, it's a two-legged one. I guess if it was a sentry, it'd be hidden a lot harder than how it is right now. I did not see you. Nice. A lot of boxes with nothing in them. My favorite. Nothing else around here. Resources. Again, I do feel like I have to kind of mention that some of those reacts were scuffed. At least one of them was. I already posted the worst of them, so yeah, there's nowhere else it could go but up, right? Though I do remember saying some wild shit about that, in particular in that fat electrician video. Just one thing that I know someone's probably gonna misconstrue as meaning something else, and I honestly, I really don't care. You know, the internet's gonna have a problem with everything. People have a problem with everything. You can't get away from it. People are going to make mountains out of molehills every single day because everybody's terminally online. They have nothing better to do than waste everybody else's time with stupid bullshit. It's just the way it is. There is a ladder. Just take that first. Slugs. Let's see. We got boxes. One thing I will say about the 2B outfits as well. In fact, you know what? Maybe I'll save that for later, but I actually get one. It's a shooting gallery. On controller is ass, but I'll take it. I remember this being particularly forgiving, so. I noticed that the number went up. I think I'm not supposed to shoot the red ones. It's been a while since I've done something like this. I don't remember coming down here the first time when I went through here on my own time. So, that very well might be the reason. Only got so many slugs left. Did I miss the other one? I must have not seen it. Not like it's gonna matter now. Oh, wait. It gave me more slugs, I think. It gave me pity slugs because I'm a dumbass. Ah, there it is. Design pattern, Cyber Magician. Interesting to check out the next chance I get. Saves the game. So far the game's been pretty stable. I kinda wanna plug back in my fan, but I don't wanna plug back in my fan. I don't wanna go through that shit again. I remember where this is. I don't think I have the health for this, but we'll see. It returns. This weird fucking thing. The Corruptor. Nope. Right off the bat. I was trying to heal and then he shot me. Alright, let's try this again. Nice. You know, it's weird that I went to go troubleshoot my problems over in the community forums on Steam, and then I see a bunch of people saying that the game was either kind of mid or some other shit, right? It's kind of weird that there are people who feel like that. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's just, maybe it is easy. I don't know. I mean, I enjoy it. It's fun. It's fucking fun. I don't know if the gameplay footage really, like, shows it. Right? I don't know if my gameplay is also, you know, like, does a pretty good job at showcasing it either, but this game is really fun. And there is some challenge to it if you're, you know, if you're not paying attention and you're just stupid. And, you know, I'm pretty damn stupid. See? I kind of got overwhelmed there. That combo is easy to always fuck up. Those enemy variants are always the most annoying. Get you out of the way. Holiday Rabbit? I don't remember that one. I'm sure it was around here. Damn it all, I see these damn Nativas. Just ain't it, I'm going to just ain't on, I'm going to save you. Got 3 skill points ready to use. There's a crate there. We're gonna have to go back up. And some combos just keep them stun locked, and I would like to know which combos do what, but... The bench stopped me from actually hitting the enemy. No way over there from any other angle. No, doesn't look like it. Just gonna have to go back up, I guess. I do believe there was another way down. I was watching some other streamers play the game. At least I tried to when it first came to PC, but there wasn't a whole lot of people playing it. The only one that I really could find at the time were like a handful, and one of them was using an eye tracker. Which is kind of funny. Alright. I even noticed that another creator that I've been watching as of recently also played this game at one point. It looked like right before they went on their weird sort of hiatus. And I'm not sure what the story is on that. Because for those of you who don't know, there's like this creator who I do occasionally watch. Her name is Leaflet and Asari. I've been watching a lot of her content recently because she's just been in my recommendeds, and I found that, you know, like a lot of her coverage on, she's a political YouTuber these days, but I find that a lot of her coverage on the political discussions aren't unreasonable. In fact, I think they're actually the consensus of how most normal people, especially people who are actively paying attention, would generally view a lot of the goings on in the political atmosphere right now would be feeling. Especially if you're just an average Joe like myself. Like, I, for one, have no stake in politics. I hate politics. You know, like, if you want if I have to be entirely honest with you, right? I do not care for politics. I hate politics. I hate it to a degree. I don't mind talking about it with some people, but I really, you know, like, if you're someone who takes politics seriously, you're, I don't know how to tell you this, really. I don't know how to say this without it coming off as being kind of an asshole. But you're taking this shit way too seriously. I don't know how to put it politely as possible. You know what? I'm just gonna say it for what it is, right? You're a clown. If you are actively making politics like your biggest fucking thing, unless you're making content around that, like, unless you're actively trying to inform people about the political goings on and, you know, like, the state of the world, among other things, you know, like, getting into shit fits and arguments with people online over politics is just, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. Listen, okay? And I say this, I'm gonna say this as lovingly as humanly possible, right? It doesn't matter, right, if you have good takes. It doesn't matter if you have a really interesting, a really smart take on a subject. It doesn't even matter if your takes are god-awful, right? It also doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, or whatever have you, right? You know, like, at the end of the day, your opinion is invalidated because everyone's going to have a problem with it one way or another. There are no honest discussions. There are no reasonable discussions. It's only you are this or you are that. Until we move beyond the points where everyone's either an ist or a phobe or some kind of ism, we're not really going to have reasonable discussions around this topic. It's also one of the reasons why I don't engage in this discussion too often. Like, I've had, like, I think one of my most successful videos on the channel is me just reacting to the Jordan Peterson versus Slavoj Zizeki debate on the channel. And that was something that was recommended to me by a viewer of the channel. And I had two parts to it. And as much as I would like to say that I like to think that I have some pretty reasonable takes on politics, I don't talk about them very often because the moment you talk about them, the moment people start putting you into camps. Look, I don't care what your political opinions are, right? I don't care if you are one way or another way. I don't care if you're red, blue. I don't care about any of this shit, all right? Because at the end of the day, people are going to have a problem with it. And that's the part that I have the biggest fucking umbrage with, is that until people actually start getting their collective shit together, there is no honest discussions about politics. There is no honest discussions about anything. There's only the vitriol. And that's the part that really gets under my skin, in particular with politics, is that there are no right ways to look at politics. In fact, I could even just sit here and just spew the most garbage political hot takes that I have seen personally right now. If I wanted to. Maybe even if I just wanted to say, I just hop off the game and I just go scrolling through Reddit for political hot takes. You know, like, I could easily do that, and honestly, it wouldn't be just as viable. Because it does not matter. It's just a game, right? It is just a game. And the funny part about politics in particular is that you may not agree with that take on its face, but let me explain it to you like this, right? Even if you do believe that what you're saying and what you're doing is true, even if you believe that your words have weight and that people also echoing similar sentiments have weight and significance, they do have genuine meaning, and I'm not going to take that away from you, right? But what I will say is that if you think that everyone is going to be convinced by your takes, or that people want to actively engage in those discussions, she is looking at the camera suddenly, you are fucking wrong. Especially here on the internet, right? On the internet, nobody cares. Because they all, like, it's just the MGS2 meme of, like, everybody likes to stay in their own little communities, in their own little ponds, leaking whatever truths suits them. Kojima is such a fucking masterclass predictor of how the state of things were going to go back so far back then that it's fucking wild to think about. It's like, you literally, like, if it wasn't the whole predicting that Trump was going to get into office, and then him making the Make America Great Again thing, and then, you know, he made the meme game of all time, and then had a, you know, Senator Armstrong who echoed the same fucking points, just like, it'll make America great again. You know, like, it's, the guy, you have to admit, is fucking insane when it comes to understanding American politics. Anyways, I got us a little sidetracked there. My overall point that I was going with was that regardless of your points, regardless of your standings, and regardless of the intent and reasons behind it, you know, taking this shit seriously is the equivalent of wanting to smash your head against a fucking brick wall. Because no one's going to listen to it. If they don't want to hear it, they won't hear it. If they care to hear it, then fine. But the only people who are going to care to hear it or want to hear you out are people who have similar opinions as yourself. So, at least most of the time. It's all you're really doing, it's just that you're talking the same points that everybody else who agrees with that point is going to want to see and hear affirmed to them, and so it's really not going to do or change anything. The only way things are really going to go anywhere and get, you know, actually make meaningful change for the better is if you get all of these fucking morons together in one room and you make them actively have to hash it out, have to talk this shit out, regardless if it turns into a verbal debate or argument. It has to be done, because otherwise that's the only way you're going to see actual progress. But because the internet allows for people to just completely self-isolate themselves into their own little sort of, like, communities, their own little ponds, again, right? Nothing's ever going to change. Nothing's ever going to get done. And so arguing and debating with people online is the equivalent of smacking your head against a brick wall. There's just no point. And so, and let's be honest here, the politicians don't care either, right? The politicians are just fucking charlatans. It doesn't matter if they're the Democrats or the Republicans. The Republicans are lazy and fucking useless. Alright? I've said that a while back. I'm glad that there's also another creator like Leaf who also agrees with that sentiment. And I think the Republicans are fucking lazy as shit. They're old as hell. They don't really care, and they care more about upholding traditionalist values than really thinking of new and innovative ways of tackling new issues and problems that we're seeing today. And then the Democrats, you know, as annoying as fucking insufferable as they could get, especially the people who vote for these people, you know, they're quite literally just fucking liars. And then even when they have policies that they want to use to actually change things for the better, it always has to come with the slide of some stupid fuck shit. You know, like, it doesn't matter who you vote for. At the end of the day, everyone is garbage. Everyone is shit. Why can't we just come together and agree on this one essential point? I don't know. It's fucking weird. But anyways, regardless of that shit, you know, like, the reason why I say you're a clown, if you put too much pride and stake on being a political savvy nut, like halfwit, you know, a literal twitlonger, a literal Twitter pugnant, a political fucking pugnant on the internet, it's because you're not preaching to anyone except to the people from which your opinion's concerned. The only people who give a shit are people with the same opinions as yourself. You're not achieving anything. You're not doing anything. You're not even accomplishing anything truly meaningful. You're just spurging to the people who already like your opinions to begin with. And that's all I have to say on the subject. Because otherwise, I'm just going to be continuously reiterating this one singular point. It's just not worth it. It's not optimal. It's also just not a great way to live your life if you're constantly in a state of hating everyone, including yourself, right? Alright, take it from me. I already hate myself, and I can already tell you that's not fun. So, yeah, you know, get some help. Turn off the Twitters and the Reddits, and just go outside and touch grass every once in a while. It's just not worth it, my guy. It really isn't. No, I'm out of energy. Great. Where do you guys come from? Ow. No, I tried to block that. I don't think that was something I could block for the sound effect, actually. Ow. Okay. Whoa, where'd you guys come from? You know, I'm trying to block those, but either I'm not getting them down, or the inputs are a little delayed. I think my fingers are slow, because I do notice that I do try to tap it, but I don't think I officially tap it until a little after the fact. Now we wait for the gas to go away. You know, I do notice now, as a matter of fact, that I had not once had ever mentioned 4th of July. How was everybody's 4th of July? My 4th of July was pretty uneventful. Other than the fireworks at my fucking job, it was Very tame. Very uneventful. Ow. I am out of healing items too. Alright. I'm going to rest up a little bit again. It's almost that in-between mark, unfortunately. Let's see. Nanosuits. Oh, that's the Cyber Magician. Well, that looks kind of nice. I do remember this outfit, actually. It's more like a casino look, really. A holiday rabbit. Oh, this is the one that people said supposedly was censored from the promotional materials and stuff that people were able to glean from, yeah, when the game was first initially coming out on PlayStation. This is the one that's got the weird button-up part of it. They did seem to remedy this issue by just giving us a shit ton more outfits that aim to provide us with as much skin as humanly possible. You know, I can't blame the developers for the amount of shits in here that's going to give us as much exposed skin as humanly possible. I really can't blame them for that. Everybody appreciates it, women appreciate it, I'm an appreciator of it myself. Everybody does. I'm not gonna wear that, not now. I think we're good here. This is another one of my favorite outfits outside of just the one I usually use, which is that Orca outfit. Beta recovery, I will take that. Favorite that. Let's see, I'll go and save real quick by sitting. It's interesting that they have an ammo package now, so you don't have to go running through here to buy all the stuff that you need again. I kind of like that, especially if you're not going to bother putting in magazines on the gun. That is this drone, because it's a little inconvenient that I have only like one particular mag to work with. Oh, I suppose if they were to magazine this shit, they probably would have to segment the ammo, which would be more annoying, so I guess it makes sense. Nice to have it all just readily available instead of in clips or mags. You know what's funny is that I ended up going into that rant, but I got completely sidetracked from the initial topic too. Yeah, I did, didn't I? Anyways, yeah, my overall thought on the I don't know what Leaflet's situation is like. I don't know what happened to her prior, but from the content that I've seen of her, I don't really see any problems. Like, maybe there was just some fallout. You know, the likely story that I'm thinking of is that she likely, because she's a very opinionated person, she probably got into it or said something to one creator or another that got under their skin. And so that same person then went and talked to a bunch of other people about it, and then those people got embroiled as well. And so there was just a nice, small, burgeoning collective of people who just had an issue. And so they just decided to orchestrate maybe a scenario where she gets canceled. I don't know. It could just be something as simple as she just simply had a falling out with her friends, her creator friends. Because I know she used to do streams with other VTubers, like Takahata even. I think Takahata as well. I think I saw his VTuber model in one of her clips, her older clips. But yeah. You know, kind of think of it, Takahata's going through some shit too as well. Like, he's got accused of some other shit. I hope that they're not true. I really do, because as a male creator myself, you know, like, I've seen enough male creators come and go from these spaces to where it's just like, you know, whenever someone comes out against you over some shit, and regardless of whether or not, you know, like, we can debate whether or not these things are ever true. But if they're not true, I really hope he can solve that issue fucking real quick, because that shit is liable to attempted murder. Like, the reputational harm and damage that those kinds of allegations cause are just, they're awful. Just like I wouldn't wish what happened to me during COVID, you know, to happen on anyone. I don't wish that to happen to anyone. You know, like, as someone who has a bit of a persecution complex himself, I do not wish that kind of shit on anyone. Oh my god. Oh, there's some lag there. I am genuinely concerned about plugging in. I keep debating it. I kind of want to not have my computer running itself into the ground. Actually, it doesn't seem to be running all that hard. It's not even that hot. That's interesting. I'll give it another feel here real quick. I mean, it's kind of warm in areas, but it doesn't feel that bad. It might be because the vents beneath it are also, like, doing their job as well, because there's nothing beneath it now, because the platform it's on is more of like a... It's more like a grated mesh, so it's not because of the fan. So there's actually a reason for those vents underneath it to be there. Oh, I don't have the charge, that's right. Ow. Let's see. I should probably just start using this more often. I'm just exploring. I like to explore. I'm so weird about that with games. And sometimes I forget that I'm streaming, and so I'm just like, I'm running around doing a bunch of dumb shit, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot, I'm fucking streaming. Back away, back away. Oh, I'm using the run aid on that. Damn it. That particular one you really just can't avoid. You know, I feel like I hit the button there, but maybe it's because I was stuck in the animation. But sometimes when you're doing attack animations, you just can't cancel them. It's kind of weird how the game is like a little finicky on that a little bit as well. Like you can cancel some moves, but at the same time you can't cancel certain others. Maybe it's because they're heavier attacks. Maybe that's what I should have to consider. Boy, there's a lot of these gun types here. And I've been spotted. Oh boy, I've been spotted again. How many more of these will spot me before I can actually get to the objective that's open? The world may never know. No passcode? Alright. We'll have to move on then. I should check on YouTube real quick. Yeah, we seem to be doing alright. No chats or comments or anything made. Everything seems to be working as intended, at least from the surface of it. Alright, unlock this.
This is the place, isn't it?
I don't see any sentinels. They're supposed to be guarding the area. Where are they?
I'm not sure. Let's look around.
These people.
Could this be the surveillance team that lost contact? They're completely mangled.
Wait. Then where is the Natiba?
There it is.
Look!
So does this or does this not look like the one you fought in the earlier part of the game? Because it really looks like the one that I fought earlier, just coming back for revenge. I try to dodge that. Ow. Maybe I should have kept dodging. Nope. Could not block that. Seems angry. Nope, you cannot block that, it seems. It's a part of that unblockable. I happened to dodge in the wrong direction. Alright. You know, that's the first time I think I've died to a boss.
Look!
Okay, what is that? Alright. Either I am blocking not enough, or he is hitting me when I'm not blocking. Okay, I don't know what happened here. I honestly have no idea what just happened. Oh boy. I happened to be charging when he was doing that. You do way too many unblockable, sir. God, you fucking hurt. That's probably why I couldn't block that, because that one in particular was not unblockable. I didn't see the yellow flash earlier. There we go. Damn, that didn't kill him. That certainly did. Nice.
You alright?
I'm fine.
Is this a subspecies of what we encountered in 807? What's it doing here? Looks like it caught the Sentinels in an ambush.
I hate to deliver bad news, but I'll have to tell him.
You know, it really does seem like, right, that was the same thing we fought, because it's got the same wound that we clipped out of it when we first fought it back in 807. Though the dialogue does not suggest that in the slightest. I do not have the health for this shit, my guy. Okay. There we go. Get the time and get into the swing of things. I think maybe I was just off cue the entire time. I'll have to camp out here tonight. Hopefully I'll find some intact circuits or valuable machine parts. It's once again going through my... You know what? Maybe I can solve that problem. That way the audio at least comes in on that side. Controller speaker, let's turn that off. Mutes the game when the application window loses focus. Oh. It's fine the way it is though. But that hurt a little bit. It's interesting that these androids do take fall damage, but I guess they are pretty heavy, right? I imagine Eve's gotta be heavy as hell. You know, kind of think of it, I think Nikes were also pretty heavy as established lore in that world as well, now that I think about it. They are mostly just made out of circuitry and wiring. They're just more fleshy in this one. kind of think of it, I think Nikkei established lore also suggests that these are the sort of personalities of literal, like at one point, they were the personalities of actual people transplanted into Nikkei form. No, was it? No, I think some people were like that. I think Nikkeis who died, right, were, you know, like, have their memories transplanted in new bodies, right? I don't know if they look the same with every iteration, but I think some of them are like that, and I think there are others that are just manufactured. But I also know that there are some Nikkeis, I think some Nikkeis are created through another process of, like, child recruitment. I don't know. I know Nikkei is kind of dark. That's the most that I know. I've only played Nikkei myself for like a little bit. A friend of mine plays it all the time, though. Beep.
Hello, my name is Digger. As you can see, I've been involved in an accident. I kindly request your assistance.
I don't think I should attack this drone. Smaller drones don't usually have a language system installed. What's going on here?
I told you were gonna like this.
I'm currently in.
I like how that insinuates there's something jovial to be had here, but he doesn't sound jovial.
Escape unless you perform a manual reset on the claw crane system. Please operate the ticker, buzzer, and clunker in that order. They're located here at this dump site. I kindly request your assistance.
All right.
It makes you wonder what the actual Korean voice acting must be like, because I wonder if they have a bit more of a, like, if they actually hired actors with a bit more personality to the role. Because I feel like a lot of the English voice acting just feels a little stilted, right? Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I do feel like it's stiff across the board a lot of the time. I think I remember hearing that criticism that I think about it when the game first came out as well, but... Wish I had a double jump, because I'm not going to be able to get that ladder. It doesn't matter how you angle this box. If you do not have a double jump, you just cannot get this. I'll try it, though. Let's see. Yeah, you can't get it. It's weird that you're just close enough to be able to grab it, but you just phase through the damn thing. It's a little annoying. Alright. Let me see. Getting back on track. What do you need me to do? Which one was it?
Insufficient energy remaining. You must operate the ticker, buzzer, and clunker in that order to reset the claw crane.
Okay. Have mercy. Another BGM. The Afterworld. The music from Nikkei is always so great. The one I want is the shopping music. That shit is my bop. That's the one that's truly lit. I would love to just have that on the background. Let's see. The buzzer. High voltage does make a buzzing sound. Bzz, bzz, motherfucker. Let's see. And then we need to get to this. We're gonna need to grab this again. Yeah, there isn't anything else up there. Oh, fascinating. I can't even get to it. Alright. Yeah, that makes sense. I had to move these to open the door to get the one that's on the other side. There was one on the other side of this door. There we go. Nice.
I can't believe this flimsy thing is still working. What a relief.
Looks like you're right. Well then, how about we go check on that drone?
Thank you so much for your help. Hello, Adam. It has been some time. Would you kindly introduce me to this lady?
Of course, what's the word? Oh yeah, Angel.
Angel. That's the unofficial name for members of the Eve Airborne Squad.
I'm Eve. What happened to you? Drones like you aren't supposed to work this way.
Hello, Eve. I am Digger. I have innumerable thoughts concerning my existence, and I am capable of making fantastic plans.
I told you this would be fun. You see what I mean?
Adam, please don't interrupt. Eve, someday I would appreciate the opportunity to sit, at length, and share with you my fantabulous hypothesis. I thank you again for your assistance. May our relationship continue to prove constructive. I am willing to provide useful resources.
Okay.
You see how awkward this is in particular? I feel like they're supposed to be, right? A more sort of like fun sort of lean into this conversation that just isn't being betrayed by the acting. And the voice actor they hired for this little robot in particular does not seem to be in it at all. He seems to be here for the paycheck. I don't know if they just gave him a sheet and it was just like, just read the words on the sheet, and then just was done with it. But it's crazy.
A particularly unique drone, Digger.
Do you mean that in a good way or a bad way?
Well, maybe neither, exactly. What happened to make you like this?
I don't know. At some point, the IoT in the network suddenly went offline. And at that moment, the Quantum Brains limiter was released.
Can something like that happen?
Apparently. Anyway, for me, my existence is the greatest question. Typically, I use the time I spend cleaning the environment to consider the question of myself.
You could become friends with merchants if you use their shops often. As your affinity with them grows, I already know this. Why are you telling me this? Alright, I'll get another core from you. I need more weapon upgrades. Affinity increased. Yeah, become good friends with Digger.
Increase in service satisfaction detected.
The wraparound sunglasses. Of course I'll buy these. It's the only shades I'm willing to wear. Damn it. I don't have enough micro drives. Wait, do I need another mine copy? I think I got all the mine copies I need, right? Maybe I should buy it just in case. This is all information. Of course he sells all the Karen sunglasses too. God damn it. I can go my whole life without that shit.
Eve, the time has finally come to test the fantabulous hypothesis.
Already? I just met you.
The Oh, that thing you mentioned before. By the way, is that even a word?
That is irrelevant. What is relevant is how my fantabulous hypothesis could hold the solution to my problems. This is a device of my own creation. It is called a connection device. I designed it to transmit network bandwidth signals to Earth's orbit and allow me to directly contact Mother Sphere.
Digger, you can't be serious. If you were to suffer an attack from the security system, it could fry your quantum brain.
I am aware of that. My objective is to simply bring the network back online, even if only for a brief moment. Either my sentience will be regarded as a bug, and I will be reset to factory settings, or Mother Sphere will give me my answer, and my happily ever after. Preparations are almost complete. However, Eve, I must first acquire the network access code in order to utilize the access node. The solar tower in the wasteland, Zion's scrap market, and the oasis of the Great Desert. These locations are where I last detected traces of its data. Your investigation would be most appreciated.
This is not going to end well.
Alright. Now we have to go collect things. Again. Alright. I shall leave you with the meditation Nikkei music. Cause I am hungry as hell. I did not eat this morning, so I will be right back. Hopefully I won't be gone too long. I kind of want to speed that up because of the fact that I had so much of a hard time just trying to get the game running. Alright, BRB.